Most people think role prompting is just a cosmetic trick, something you add at the beginning of a prompt to slightly change tone, but in reality, role assignment is one of the most powerful control mechanisms we have when working with language models, because roles don't just influence style, they constrain reasoning. When we tell a model you are an expert, we aren't asking it to pretend. We're narrowing the probability space it draws from. This is why two prompts with identical tasks but different roles can produce radically different outputs. Without a role, the model defaults to a generic, averaged voice that tries to be safe, broadly useful, and non-committal. That's why so many outputs feel like summaries instead of decisions. Role prompting works because it encodes assumptions about knowledge depth, audience awareness, risk tolerance, and decision-making authority directly into the prompt. Humans use roles instinctively in communication. We speak differently to a lawyer than to a friend, differently to a beginner than to a peer. Models don't infer those distinctions unless we specify them. When we skip role definition, we force the model to guess who it's supposed to be, and once again, guessing leads to generic language. A common mistake is thinking that roles are about personality when they're actually about constraint. Saying you are a senior data analyst advising executives immediately limits vocabulary, prioritizes synthesis over explanation, and increases confidence in recommendations. Saying you are a teacher explaining this to beginners shifts the same task toward clarity, scaffolding, and examples. The task hasn't changed, but the output logic has. This is why role prompting often feels like a shortcut to better results. It resolves multiple ambiguities at once. Instead of separately specifying tone, depth, audience, and authority, we collapse all of that into a single linguistic signal. This is also why vague roles perform poorly. Saying you are an AI assistant does almost nothing, because it doesn't narrow the space meaningfully. Effective roles are specific, contextual, and functional. They describe not just who the model is, but what kind of decisions it is expected to make. Another underappreciated aspect of role prompting is that it affects error tolerance. When a model is assigned a role with high responsibility, it becomes more cautious and structured. When the role implies exploration or brainstorming, it becomes more divergent. This allows us to dial creativity up or down without explicitly mentioning creativity at all. Role prompting also interacts strongly with prompt compression. Instead of listing multiple constraints about being concise, credible, practical, and non-hype, a single well-chosen role can encode all of those requirements implicitly. This reduces prompt length while increasing precision, which is exactly where advanced prompting lives. However, role prompting is not magic, and it fails when misused. One common failure mode is stacking multiple roles in the same prompt. When we ask the model to be a strategist, a marketer, a copywriter, and a psychologist simultaneously, we recreate the same overload problem we saw with long prompts. Roles should be singular and dominant. If a task truly requires multiple perspectives, that's a signal to use multi-step prompting, not multi-role prompting. Another mistake is assigning roles that don't match the task. If the role implies authority, but the task is exploratory, outputs become rigid. If the role implies teaching, but the task is decision-making, outputs become verbose. Alignment matters. The best way to choose a role is to ask a simple question. Who would a human trust to do this task well? That answer usually translates cleanly into an effective role. There's also a strategic difference between surface roles and system roles. Surface roles shape output style and reasoning, while deeper roles shape process. Saying you are a critical reviewer changes how the model evaluates information. Saying you are a compliance auditor changes what it notices. This makes role prompting especially powerful for analysis, critique, and decision support. Once you understand this, role prompting stops being a trick and starts being a design choice. You begin selecting roles intentionally based on the type of thinking you want, not just the tone you want. This also explains why some prompts seem to work perfectly for one person and fail for another. The hidden variable is often role alignment. Experienced users intuitively include roles that match their expectations, while beginners leave that space undefined. When we combine role prompting with sequencing and compression, we get compounding gains. Each prompt becomes more predictable, more reusable, and easier to debug. If an output is wrong, we can ask whether the role was misaligned, rather than blaming the model. This mindset shift is critical. Prompt engineering isn't about clever wording, it's about designing constraints that guide reasoning. Roles are one of the highest leverage constraints we have. Once you start using them deliberately, it becomes very difficult to go back to unstructured prompts. In the next video, we'll break down the difference between surface-level roles and system-level roles, and how to chain roles across multiple steps without confusing the model.